Have you ever prayed with all your heart and heard nothing? Felt like heaven was silent while your world was falling apart? You're not alone. What if I told you that God's silence is not his absence? That the delay is not a denial, but divine timing and motion? Sometimes the answer isn't no, it's not yet. In this video, we'll uncover why your prayers seem unanswered and how to trust that even in silence, God is still working behind the scenes for your good. We've all been there, on our knees, tears falling, hearts breaking, begging God for answers, healing, breakthrough, direction, and yet nothing. It's in those quiet, confusing moments we start to question, is God even listening? But what if the silence is sacred? What if it's part of a bigger plan that you can't see yet? In today's video, we're diving deep into why your prayers may seem unanswered and how to hold on to hope, faith, and trust in God's perfect timing. Because even when you can't feel it, God is still working. Let me tell you the story of Elijah, one of the boldest prophets in the Bible. He had seen God move in supernatural ways, calling down fire from heaven, defeating false prophets, even stopping the rain with a single prayer. But right after his greatest victory, Elijah found himself alone, afraid, and running for his life. He ended up in a cave, spiritually exhausted and emotionally broken. He cried out to God, "I've had enough, Lord. Take my life." Can you relate to that? Have you ever reached that breaking point where you're thinking, "God, where are you now? I've done everything I know how to do." That moment in the cave wasn't weakness. It was real. And here's the beautiful thing. God didn't scold Elijah. He didn't shout from the heavens. He came in a whisper, not in the fire, not in the earthquake, not in the wind, but in the gentle whisper. What's the message here? God speaks and works, even in the silence. Your delay is not your denial. You see, unanswered prayers often feel like closed doors, like a silent heaven. But what if they're not no's? What if they're not yet? What if instead of rejection, it's redirection? Let me give you a real-life example. A young woman had been praying for years to get married. She had dated, trusted God, and waited. As time passed, the silence became louder. Her heart began to ache. Why, God? Have you forgotten me? But what she didn't see was that God was working the background, shaping her, healing her, preparing her, and also preparing someone else. Years later, when she met the man who would become her husband, she realized why the delay was necessary. They were both finally ready, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, for the kind of relationship that would honor God. Looking back, she thanked God for the unanswered prayers that protected her from what she thought she wanted. That's the beauty of divine timing. God sees the whole picture. Imagine standing right in front of a massive painting. All you can see are a few brushstrokes, some dark, some light, some that make no sense. But if you step back, you realize those strokes are part of the masterpiece. That's what your life looks like to God. He sees the end from the beginning. He sees how every delay, every disappointment, every not yet is part of something greater, something you can't comprehend right now. Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." So when you're stuck in the middle, when nothing makes sense, that's the moment to trust Jesus and the delay that saved a life. One of the most powerful stories in the Bible about divine timing is in John 11, the story of Lazarus. When Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick, what did he do? He waited. He didn't rush to heal him. He stayed where he was for 2 more days. And in that time, Lazarus died. Can you imagine how his sisters, Mary and Martha, felt? "Lord, if you had been here, our brother would not have died." They were grieving, disappointed, even confused. Why didn't Jesus come when they called? But Jesus wasn't late. He was right on time for his plan. When he finally arrived, Jesus didn't just heal Lazarus. He raised him from the dead. What the people thought was a tragedy, God turned into a testimony. The delay was necessary for the miracle to be greater. When you can't see it, trust it. Here's what I want you to remember today. Silence is not absence. Delay is not denial. Waiting does not mean forgotten. Sometimes God says, "Yes, and gives you what you ask for? No, because he has something better. Or wait, because the timing isn't right. And it's the wait that tests us the most. That's where faith grows. That's where we're stretched. That's where we learn that God isn't just after giving us what we want. He's after transforming us into who he's called us to be. What to do while you wait, while you're in the waiting season. Don't waste it. Here are a few things you can do. Pray persistently. Even when it feels like God isn't responding, keep the conversation open. Trust that he hears you. Praise intentionally. Worship shifts your perspective. It reminds your soul that God is still good. Prepare quietly. Just like Joseph in prison or David in the fields, your preparation season will shape your destiny. Surround yourself wisely. Be around people who speak life, faith, and truth into you when your heart is weak. Stay obedient. Don't let delayed answers push you into disobedience. Stay faithful. Think of a seed in the soil. For weeks, nothing happens above the ground. But deep beneath, something powerful is taking place. Roots are growing. Foundations are being laid. Eventually, the sprout breaks through, and life begins to bloom. That's what God is doing in your life. You may not see it yet. You may feel buried. But you're not buried, you're planted. And in God's perfect time, you will rise. The promise will come. The breakthrough will happen. The healing, the provision, the direction. It will all unfold in a way far better than you imagined. Remember this. God is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient. 2 Peter 3 verse 9. So, if you're in the season of silence, don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't lose heart, because God is still working. Even when it seems like nothing's happening, everything is happening. Your story isn't over. It's just getting started. Warning, don't misread the silence. Let me give you a serious warning. Don't let the silence of God fool you into spiritual sleep. Some people mistake divine delay for divine disinterest. They stop praying, stop believing, stop obeying. And that's when the enemy moves in quietly, subtly, planting lies like, God has forgotten you. God doesn't care. You're wasting your time. That's the danger zone. Because in that silence, you'll either grow stronger in faith or colder in doubt. There is no neutral ground. When you walk away too soon, you may miss the very breakthrough that was one prayer away. You may settle for something far less than what God had planned, because you gave up too early. God's silence is not a signal to quit. It's a test of your trust. And the stakes are high. Heaven is watching. Hell is waiting. Your choices in the waiting season shape your destiny. So be alert. Be sober-minded. Don't fall asleep in the delay. This silence is sacred. This waiting is warfare. Hold on. Stay awake. Because what comes next could change everything. If this message stirred something in your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Someone out there is praying, waiting, and wondering if God still hears them. Be the voice that reminds them. He does. Like this video, if you've ever felt the silence of God and still chose to trust, share it with someone who's in a waiting season. They might be one click away from not giving up. Subscribe for more faith-filled messages that speak into the silence and stir your spirit. And drop a comment. God is still working. Let's flood this space with faith. Because this isn't just content. This is a movement of hope. Let's remind the world, even in the waiting,